Now that, folks, is a good looking rifle. This is a Schmidt Rubin 1889 bolt action rifle. And it's been sitting away in folks' closets for such a long time that I really thought it was nice, and it needed to see the light of day, and it needed to see YouTube. So let me go over some of the features for you guys here. It has a wood stock. It has a straight pull bolt, which is pretty unique to these Swiss rifles. You'll see ones later that the K31 that have that bolt as well. It has a detachable 12-round box magazine, which we'll get back to in just a moment. The sights are a rear notch in the rear, and it goes up to 20, which means this person who built this thought it could shoot out to 2,000 meters. We'll go over that when it comes to performance of that 7.5 round that it chambers. But you look at its full length wood stock here and a 30-inch barrel. Makes it very, very front heavy, to be honest. And then the front sight is a post that seems to be dovetailed in there. So it is drift adjustable, I believe, and a bayonet lug on the front. And those are the basic things that comprise this rifle. Some of the other things that I thought were pretty futuristic about this firearm, and something I wanted to ask everybody here on YouTube about, was why don't rifles that were made after this seem to have as futuristic of features? And by that I'm mostly speaking about this magazine here. This weapon was made, actually this weapon is a 1889, but it was made in 1895, so it's about 125 years old. Pretty old firearm, but it does have some pretty futuristic features on here, including this detachable 12-round box magazine. Now, if I can get it to detach, that is. Now, if you look at it for nowadays, it does seem pretty modern still, but it does have those holes in the sides, so probably not going to be the best thing for, say, trench warfare or anything of the like, where you get into dirt and sand and dust. But as I said before, this was made for the Swiss. This is a Swiss rifle, and they're not a very expeditionary fighting force. So this was obviously made with that in mind, that it wouldn't be dragged into unprepared positions and that stuff wouldn't get all up in it. I thought that was a pretty unique feature. And for all you residents living in California, that is a high-capacity magazine. Yep, so judge that for yourself. See where the politicians would like to put us. They like to put us back before the year 1900. And that's in all honesty. Some of the other features I like to go over is a straight pull bolt, which makes follow-up shots about twice as fast, in my opinion. I do have an old bolt-action straight pull or a straight bolt Mauser, and that thing is a little awkward to use, and it takes around double the time to cycle than this does. And if you're ever handling one of these, the safety is that ring on the back. If you pull it out, twist it clockwise, and let it go into this little notch position you'll see there, then it makes the weapon completely safe. So if you're worried about safety, there you go. And as I said before, this is an 1889 Schmidt Rubin, chambered for 7.6 or 7.5 by 53.5, which is an odd cartridge. And if anybody knows here on YouTube where I can find some of that, then please put it in the comments. And if anybody's actually shot one of these, go ahead and throw that video in there too. Because I would really like to make this into more than a wall hanger and actually go out and shoot it. But as I said before, or maybe I didn't, but I'll say it now, is these rounds are extremely hard to find, and I think most people that shoot them actually make them for themselves. So anybody, if anybody got any information on that, be sure to tell me. And this rifle weighs in at about 12 pounds. It's pretty heavy, but again, got to remember the people this was made for back in 1889. It was the Swiss. They weren't running around worrying about carrying this thing too often. So anyway, just sitting collecting dust, and I thought they would like to see the light of day and the light of YouTube. Thought some folks might want to see it. This is not the original sling for it, I don't believe, just judging by the way it's attached to the front there. And this rifle actually does have kind of a neat story to it. The rifle belonged to a friend's great-grandfather, and he brought it up from Mexico. Actually has a few pictures of him around the turn of the century, 1900, early 1900s. And has a picture of him coming up from Mexico with the sombrero on and this sucker in his hands. So, I don't know if he was a bandolero or anything, but certainly adds a little more flavor to the rifle itself, knowing that it was put in that kind of position. And I just thought everybody would like to see it. So there you go. 1889 Schmidt Rubin. Wonderful rifle. Oh yes, and it's super high capacity, uber killy assault clip that has 12 rounds in it. Don't try to sell that in California. You'll get in trouble.